It was 3:17 in the morning on February 26th, 2026. I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling, my heart racing like it does when you know something is about to happen, but you cannot say what. My body felt heavy like someone had placed weights on my chest, and I could not catch my breath. I had been asleep for maybe an hour when I woke up, and I knew immediately this was not normal. This was not just insomnia or stress or too much coffee before bed. This was something else entirely. And I need you to hear me on this because I know how it sounds. I know what you are thinking right now. I would think the same thing if I were listening to someone say what I am about to say, but I cannot stay silent. I have to tell you what happened. I have to tell you what Jesus showed me because time is running out and you need to know what is coming before February ends. So look, I was lying there trying to understand why I was awake and why my whole body was trembling when suddenly the room changed. The darkness did not just lift. It was pushed back by a light that did not come from any lamp or window. This light was different. It was warm and alive, and it filled every corner of the room until I could see dust motes dancing in the air like they were celebrating something. And I knew before I even saw him, I knew Jesus was standing there. I cannot explain how I knew, but I knew with every part of me. My spirit recognized him before my eyes could adjust to the brightness, and I was terrified, not like afraid of a burglar or afraid of failing a test. This was different. This was the kind of fear that makes you realize how small you are and how big God is. But it was not a bad fear. It was a holy fear, the kind that makes you want to fall on your face and worship at the same time. And he was standing at the foot of my bed looking at me with eyes that held everything. Love and grief and urgency and hope all mixed together in a way I have never seen before. His eyes were like pools of deep water, and I felt like he could see everything about me, every thought I have ever had, every secret I have ever kept, every moment I have ever wasted. And he did not look angry. He looked sad, but not sad like disappointed, sad like a parent who knows their child is about to make a terrible mistake and they are trying to stop them before it is too late. And he spoke to me, not with an audible voice, but with a voice that went straight into my spirit like a thought that was not my own. He said my name, and I felt it in every cell of my body. And then he said something that changed everything. He said, I have awakened you because there are things my people must know before this month ends. There are 5 things that are about to happen, and my children are not ready. They are sleeping when they should be watching. They are playing when they should be preparing, and I need you to wake them up. I was shaking so hard, I thought the bed was going to shake apart. I could not control my body. Tears were streaming down my face, and I was not even crying consciously. It was like my body was responding to his presence before my mind could catch up. And I wanted to say something. I wanted to ask why me, or what do you mean, or are you really Jesus? But none of those words came out. All I could do was nod because somehow I knew this was real. This was not a dream. This was not my imagination. This was happening. And he reached out his hand toward me, and suddenly I was not in my bedroom anymore. I was standing on a mountaintop, and the sun was just starting to rise over the horizon, painting the sky in colors I have never seen before. Gold and orange and purple all blending together like someone had spilled paint across the heavens. And the air was so clean and crisp it felt like I was breathing for the first time in my life. Jesus was standing beside me looking out over the landscape, and I could see for miles in every direction. Mountains and valleys and rivers stretching out as far as I could see. And it was beautiful. But there was something wrong. I could feel it in my spirit. Something was coming. He turned to me, and his face was serious. He said, listen to me carefully because what I am about to show you is urgent. My people are about to enter a season they have never seen before. The next few days will determine everything for the months ahead. And he held up 5 fingers and said there are 5 markers that will appear before February ends, 5 signs that will show those who are watching what is about to unfold. And I need you to remember every one of them because my children need to know what is coming so they can prepare, so they can position themselves, so they can be ready for what I am about to do. And then he began to show me. The first thing he showed me was a vision of the church, but not like church buildings or Sunday services. I saw people, believers scattered across the world, and I saw 2 groups. The first group was asleep. Spiritually asleep. They were going through their daily lives completely unaware that anything was happening. They were worried about their jobs and their bills and their plans, and they had no idea that something spiritual was unfolding right in front of them. They were like people sleeping through a storm while the house was being shaken around them. And Jesus looked at them with such grief. He said, these are my children who have stopped watching. They have stopped listening to my voice. They have stopped seeking my face, and they are about to be caught completely unaware. But then he showed me the second group, and this group was different. They were awake, they were watching, they were praying, they were seeking Him with everything they had. And I could see light around them, not physical light, but spiritual light, like they were glowing from the inside out. And Jesus said, "These are my watchmen. These are the ones who have been listening. These are the ones who have been preparing, and they will not be caught off guard because they have been listening to my voice." And He said to me, "Tell my people this: the first marker before February ends will be a sudden awakening among those who have been sleeping. I'm about to shake things in such a way that many who have drifted away will suddenly wake up. They will realize how far they have fallen, and they will come running back to me. But this awakening will not be comfortable. It will come through shaking. It will come through circumstances that force them to their knees. So tell my people to get ready. Tell them to prepare their hearts, because many who have been sleeping are about to wake up, and they will need guidance. They will need prayer. They will need believers who are already awake to help them find their way back to me." I was standing there on that mountain taking this all in, and my heart was pounding. I could feel the urgency in His words. This was not some vague prophecy about someday. This was about now. This was about the next few days. And then He showed me the second marker, and this one was even more intense. He said the second thing that will happen before February ends is that hidden things will be exposed. Things that have been done in secret will be brought into the light. Lies that have been believed will be revealed as lies. Deceptions that have trapped my people will be uncovered. And I saw visions of people discovering truth. I saw believers realizing that things they had been taught were not true. I saw people finding out that leaders they trusted had been deceiving them. I saw relationships being shaken as hidden sins were exposed, and it was painful to watch. People were devastated, but Jesus said this exposure is necessary. It is painful, but it is necessary, because my people cannot move forward into what I have for them while they are still believing lies. They cannot walk in freedom while they are still holding on to deceptions. So I am allowing the shaking to expose what is hidden so that what is true can remain. And He looked at me with such intensity and said, "Tell my people to examine their own hearts. Tell them to ask me to show them if there is anything they are believing that is not true. Tell them to be willing to let go of anything that is not of me, even if it is painful, because the exposure that is coming will shake everything that can be shaken, and only what is built on truth will stand. So tell them to get their hearts ready. Tell them to ask me now before the shaking comes. Tell them to let me show them the truth so they are not caught off guard when what is hidden is revealed." I was trembling again. This was heavy. This was real. And I could feel the weight of responsibility settling on me. Why me, I thought. Why are you showing this to me? But before I could even form the thought, He answered me. He said, "I am showing this to you because you will tell them. You will not stay silent. You will not let fear stop you. You will deliver this message because my people need to hear it." And then He showed me the third marker. And this one was about provision. He said the third thing that will happen before February ends is a supernatural shift in provision for those who have been faithful. I saw believers who had been struggling financially suddenly receiving unexpected provision. I saw people getting job offers out of nowhere. I saw debts being paid in ways that made no sense naturally. I saw resources being released to those who had been sowing faithfully even when it was hard. And Jesus said, "I am about to reward faithfulness. I am about to honor those who have trusted me even when it did not make sense. I am about to open doors that have been closed for a long time." But then He showed me the contrast. I saw believers who had been chasing wealth instead of chasing Him. I saw people who had been making idols out of money and success, and their provision was being shaken. I saw investments failing. I saw opportunities disappearing. I saw the things they had built their security on crumbling. And Jesus said, "This is not to harm them. This is to wake them up. This is to show them where their true security should be. Because when the shaking comes, only what is built on me will stand. So tell my people to examine where their trust is. Tell them to ask themselves if they are trusting in me or if they are trusting in their own resources. Tell them to build their lives on what cannot be shaken, because everything else will be shaken." I was standing there on that mountain with the sun rising higher in the sky, and I could feel the urgency increasing. We were running out of time. And then He showed me the fourth marker, and this one was about relationships. He said the fourth thing that will happen before February ends is a divine realignment of relationships. I saw people being separated from those who had been holding them back. I saw toxic friendships ending. I saw believers being pulled away from influences that had been dragging them down. And it was painful. People were hurting. But at the same time, I saw new connections forming. I saw divine appointments happening. I saw believers being connected with people who would help them grow. I saw relationships being formed that would carry them into the next season. And Jesus said, I am separating the wheat from the tares. I am removing what does not belong in my people is lives so that what I have planted can grow. This realignment will be painful for some, but it is necessary for what I am about to do. And he looked at me with such love in his eyes and said, tell my people not to resist this realignment. Tell them to trust me when relationships end. Tell them to trust me when new connections form, because I know what they need. I know who they need around them in this next season, and I am positioning them for what is coming. So tell them to let go of what I am removing. Tell them to embrace what I am bringing. Tell them to trust that I know what I am doing even when it does not make sense. The sun was almost fully risen now, and the sky was ablaze with color, and I knew we were getting close to the end. I could feel it in my spirit. There was one more marker, one more thing he needed to show me, and then he spoke again, and his voice was even more urgent than before. He said, the fifth and final marker before February ends is the most important one. This is the one everything has been leading to. And he paused, and I held my breath, waiting for what he would say. He said, the fifth marker is a window of opportunity that will open for a brief period of time, a window of spiritual opportunity unlike anything my people have seen before. I saw a vision of an open door in the spiritual realm, and through that door was light and power and glory. And I saw believers stepping through that door and being transformed. I saw them receiving boldness they had never known. I saw them walking in authority they had never walked in before. I saw them moving in gifts and power that seemed impossible. And Jesus said, this window will open for a short time. It will not stay open forever. And only those who are watching will see it. Only those who are ready will walk through it. And then he looked at me with such intensity and said, this is why I woke you up. This is why I am showing you these things. Because my people need to know that this window is coming. They need to know that they must be ready. They must be watching. They must be prepared. Because this window will determine their trajectory for the months ahead. Those who walk through it will never be the same, but those who miss it will regret it for the rest of their lives. And I felt the weight of those words settling on me. I mean, this was serious. This was not something to take lightly. This was a moment that would determine everything. And then he began to give me specific instructions. He said, tell my people what they must do to be ready for this window. Tell them to seek my face like never before. Tell them to repent of every known sin. Tell them to forgive everyone who has hurt them. Tell them to surrender every area of their lives to me. Tell them to spend time in my presence. Tell them to listen for my voice. Tell them to be watching for this window, because it will come suddenly, and it will not stay open long. So they must be ready, they must be positioned, they must be waiting. And then he showed me what would happen to those who were not ready. I saw believers who were distracted when the window opened. They were busy with other things. They were focused on their plans and their problems, and they missed it. The window opened, and they did not even see it. And when it closed, they realized what had happened, but it was too late. And the grief on their faces was unbearable. I mean, they were devastated. And Jesus said, this is why I am warning them now. This is why I am telling them ahead of time, because I do not want them to miss what I have for them. I want them to be ready. I want them to walk through that window into everything I have prepared for them. And then the vision began to fade. The mountaintop started to dissolve around me, and I could feel myself being pulled back. But before I left, he spoke one more time. He said, tell them I love them. Tell them I am coming soon. Tell them to be ready. And then I was back in my room. The light was gone. The presence was gone. But I was different. I was changed. I looked at the clock, and it was 4:42 in the morning. Less than an hour and a half had passed, but it felt like I had been gone for days. My body was still trembling. My face was wet with tears. But I knew what I had to do. I could not stay silent. I could not keep this to myself. I had to tell someone. I had to tell everyone who would listen. So I am telling you. I am telling you because Jesus woke me up to warn you. I am telling you because there are things that are about to happen before February ends, and you need to know. You need to be ready. You need to be watching. The first marker is coming. A sudden awakening among those who have been sleeping. The second marker is coming. Hidden things will be exposed. The third marker is coming. A supernatural shift in provision. The fourth marker is coming. A divine realignment of relationships. And the fifth marker is coming. A window of spiritual opportunity that will open for a brief time, and you do not want to miss it. So what do you need to do right now? You need to stop what you are doing and get serious with God. You need to examine your heart. You need to ask Him to show you if there is anything you need to repent of. You need to forgive everyone who has hurt you. You need to surrender every area of your life to Him. You need to start seeking His face like never before. You need to spend time in His presence every day. You need to listen for His voice. You need to be watching for what He is about to do. Because time is short, February is almost over, and these markers are about to appear. So get ready, stay watching, keep seeking His face, and be prepared for what God is about to do before February ends.